Hi, a couple of people were asking how to possibly maintain or repair the foam tape that's essentially the way you form fit the mask to your own person. And backing up for a moment, the material I used, and this is just what I found at my local home builder supply, actually Menards, is just foam tape. They had another product which is sponge tape, which seemed to have a much firmer feel to it. I looked at this product and I thought this was a better choice because of how easy it was to compress, and it was more form-fitting, I thought, for that reason. So I chose the foam tape, and it ended up working out pretty well. These are the dimensions for it, 1/4 by 1/2. And so if you wanted to replace your seal, you can use the same exact material or something that's similar, or try something, maybe you'll find a better option. But I'm going to stick with what I've been using here, and essentially, in order to get this tape to stick well, I found that cleaning and technically almost like drying out the plastic a little bit with alcohol, just get a little swab wet with alcohol here, and just go around the perimeter of where the tape will go, the foam tape. All right, just clean it up like that. Let it dry out, and then if there's any lint at all, remove that lint. Using the alcohol on your fingers certainly dries them out well too, so no finger oil on here. And in fact, I'd taken a few masks, actually my wife's mask, and was able to, because the seal seemed to be coming off. I think I actually had put a little bit too much on, so it was kind of pushing itself off, and I was able to get it, remove it carefully, set it aside, clean it with alcohol again, and it actually stuck on better than it did the first time. So you can maintain it that way, or if you are replacing it, this is the method I use. I just basically pull the foam stripping off of the reel here. Don't cut it yet. It's just easier just to apply it if you're a little careful, and that way you don't have to try and carefully measure it. It's kind of hard to measure since it does go on in a specific way, actually. So I start at the bottom, and I just do this, and I just basically try to keep it right at the edge, and it's very sticky now that I clean this. And I try to kind of just don't stretch it out in this area. Just basically kind of lay it in there and kind of push it against itself so that it kind of it sort of gathers up a little bit in here. So and that way it will actually try to keep itself in the shape of the mask in here. If you stretch it, it'll want to pull away and form a gap. So try to keep it either on no tension on it, or compress it a little bit as you put it on, just a little bit. As you go around this corner, again, don't stretch it because it will end up pulling off. So if you just lay it on here, maybe with just a little bit of compression, basically pushing it into itself. So anywhere where there's I guess a concave area, I'm kind of compressing it. And when I get to this area where it's a little convex, I don't put any tension on it at all. I just kind of lay it on here, almost pulling it just a tiny bit so that it wants to stay in that shape, otherwise it wants to pull away. Again, keeping it along the edge here, work it around. It's going to go into the nose piece area a little funny, but you're going to have to kind of force that in. There you go. And again, in this area, don't compress it, just lay it against here. Almost just a tiny bit of tension. And then right when you get into this area, we're kind of concave here again, I'm going to just compress it a little bit as I put it on, and that kind of forces it to stay in that shape. Working your way around. And that would do it. And when we get to the end here, we would just simply kind of butt it up a little bit and then cut it. And that's it. Right there. And just take some scissors and snip. Kind of hold on to everything. These two pieces, pull this away. All right. And just flatten that out, and then just go back around and make sure. See, it's starting to come away here already because I never really pushed it on, so it's very sticky. And so again, in this area, I may not have actually compressed it too much here, which is why it wants to pull away. So tension here and compression here will actually cause this to stay in that shape. I think I just didn't press it on well enough, actually. Okay, and then the last thing was you just put about an inch worth of tape right in that nose piece area, because the bridge of your nose, I mean, these masks basically all the same shape, they just are scaled to different sizes, so it is a little bit of the foam work here that allows any of this to really just fit everybody. 3 different sizes, and just take another piece here, about an inch worth, just tuck it in here, and just like that. Okay, so if this starts to come away or whatever, just go ahead and you can actually pull this away in some cases and clean it with alcohol. I've taken the whole thing apart, cleaned it with alcohol, and then replaced this, and it actually has stuck pretty well. Or you can just buy some fresh tape. I mean, this entire roll, which I think will do about 10 masks, was only like $3. So if you get a bad seal, or you want to try something thicker or thinner, just go out and find something. As I said, the foam tape was the stuff that seemed to was real spongy, and actually allows you to get a nice seal on your face. Okay, so that is how you manage the foam tape seal on your mask if you want to repair or replace it.